The book of Samuel was originally 55 chapters, but when translated from Hebrew into the Greek language to match the New Testament, the Septuagint, it was divided into two books, 1st and 2nd Samuel. 1st Samuel was written by prophets. Samuel, Nathan, and Gad wrote during the time period they describe. Then sometime later, during the divided kingdom, Israel and Judah, their writings were compiled and completed by an unknown prophet. 1 Samuel is in the history section of the Old Testament books and begins with the miraculous birth of Samuel, who would be the final judge and the first prophet of Israel. It concludes with the death of Saul. 1,000 years or so before Christ came, this was a time when Israel, God's covenant nation, lived in the promised land, and they transitioned from a loosely organized group of 12 tribes into a monarchy led by a king. There are three key figures in the book. Chapters 1 through 7 focus on Samuel, his miraculous conception, calling, and service as a prophet of God. Chapters 8 through 15 detail Saul's selection and service as the first king. Chapters 16 through 31 record the downfall and death of King Saul, alongside the rise of the shepherd boy, musician, and warrior, King David, from whose line would come the promised Messiah, Jesus. There are themes through the book. Interestingly, they are each referred to in Hannah's Song of Praise in chapter 2. Theme 1, seek the Lord, always. Hannah was barren, unable to conceive, and Peninnah persecuted her for something she could not help. In chapter 1, we read where Hannah went to the temple to pray and seek the Lord. It was there that she made her heartfelt appeal, which was answered in the provision of her firstborn son, Samuel. No wonder she writes in verse 1, "My heart exults," jumps for joy, "in the Lord. My horn is exalted in the Lord." Now that word horn, it's a metaphor for strength and ability. So do you understand? Hannah prayed and sought the Lord, and when she did, God answered with his ability to create a life in her. No wonder she was rejoicing in the Lord. Now, a few chapters later, the people of Israel do not seek the Lord, and they go into battle presumptuously, just assuming that God's leading them and he'll bless them. But he doesn't. And without his blessings, they suffer defeat, and the Ark of the Covenant, it's stolen. They shouldn't have treated it like a good luck charm. It wasn't to be used in that way. But don't worry, God can take care of what is his, meaning the nation learns the important lesson of seeking him always, and God takes care of his ark. By the time he deals with the Philistines, they're more than glad to return his ark to Israel. Second, Hannah worships in verse 1. "I rejoice in your salvation," making theme number 2, the Lord is salvation. That is, he is the one who saves, right? It's his plan of salvation. Got that? It's his Savior who arrives to earth, Jesus. And to provide for our salvation, God the Son will live perfectly, die sacrificially, and rise victoriously, so that those of us who believe in Jesus as Lord might be saved from our sin and dwell in heaven forever with God and his family. Hallelujah. In verse 10, Hannah's praise will conclude with a messianic prophecy about God's king, his anointed one. We'll see theme 2, the Lord is salvation, throughout this book. Third, Hannah declares in verse 2, there is none holy like the Lord, making that theme 3. The Lord is holy. Holy, separate from his creation, for he's the creator. And though we're made in his image, we don't possess all the qualities that make him distinctively God and worthy to be worshiped. It's also a reminder that, being perfectly holy in being, God does not sin. He cannot sin, and he cannot dwell with sin. Hence the reason he chooses to save us. We can't save ourselves. We need a Savior. Fortunately, God sent one, and his name is Jesus. Fourth, Hannah warns in verse 3, "Talk no more so very proudly. Let not arrogance come from your mouth." Verse 4, "The bows of the mighty are broken, but the feeble bind on strength." Making theme number 4, exalt the Lord, humble yourself. We'll see the first king, Saul, exalt himself and refuse to fully obey the Lord. His pride will be exposed and broken as he's told, to obey is better than sacrifice. King David, a man after God's own heart, also exalts himself in sin. But as Psalm 51 confirms, he humbles himself to confess and repent. It is true, those who walk in pride, God is able to humble. So, exalt the Lord and humble yourself. Fifth, Hannah declares in verse 6, "The Lord kills and brings to life. He brings down to Sheol and raises up." Making theme number 5, the Lord is sovereign. That means he rules over all he has made. He has that authority and power to do so. To rebel against him, that's folly. To resist him, it's useless. To submit to him and follow him as Lord and leader in life, it's to be blessed by him as the sovereign God who is to be praised forever. And finally, Hannah concludes her poem in verse 9. "He will guard the feet of his faithful one, but the wicked shall be cut off in darkness, for not by might shall a man prevail." Making theme number 6, the Lord gives victory to the obedient. We'll see that truth accentuated in many stories. For example, in chapter 7, verse 3, Samuel said to all the house of Israel, "If you are returning to the Lord with all your heart, then put away the foreign gods and the Ashtoreth from among you, and direct your heart to the Lord, and serve him only, and he will deliver you out of the hand of the Philistines." So the people of Israel put away the Baals and Ashtoreth, and they served the Lord only. They humbled themselves and did what was right in God's sight, and the Lord gave them victory over their enemies. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord.
Here we go. I heard an old story, how a Savior came from glory, how he gave his life on Calvary to save a wretch like me. I heard about his groaning, of his precious blood's atoning. Then I repented of my sins and won the victory. Oh, victory in Jesus, my Savior forever. He sought me and bought me with his redeeming blood. He loved me and I knew him, and all my love is to him. He plunged me to victory beneath the cleansing blood. That's right. I heard about his healing, of his cleansing power revealing, how he made the lame to walk again and caused the blind to see. And then I cried, "Dear Jesus, come and heal my broken spirit." And somehow Jesus came and brought to me the victory. Oh, victory in Jesus, my Savior forever. He sought me and bought me with his redeeming blood. He loved me and I knew him, and all my love is to him. He plunged me to victory beneath the cleansing blood. Yeah. 1 Corinthians 15 says, "But thanks be to God who gives us the victory through our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ." So as Christians this morning, we have the victory. Amen? Let's continue to worship the Lord. Put your hands together. mansion He has built for me in glory. And I heard about the streets of gold beyond the crystal sea, about the angels singing and the old redemption story. And some sweet day I'll sing up there the song of victory. Oh, victory in Jesus, my Savior forever. He sought me and bought me with His redeeming blood. He loved me ere I knew Him, and all my love is to Him. He plunged me to victory beneath the blessing flood. Oh, victory in Jesus, my Savior forever. He sought me and bought me with His